Now, today is the fourth Sunday of Advent. It's the last Sunday before Christmas. And today, we've lit the candle of love. Love, that word that has come to mean everything and nothing at the same time. Because I like to say I love chocolate, but, not really. I like the taste of chocolate a lot, but, since I'm going to eat it, I obviously don't care about the welfare of that chocolate. That's not love. Love is more than a preference or affection. Love is caring about and acting on behalf of the welfare of the beloved person or people or thing or all things in creation. Today we are entering an unfolding story of love, a story filled with layers of what love looks like. For in the story of God's love, we find a story of self-love. We find a story of love between two people and a story of communal, social justice love for those at the margins. Now, our story that we read today, a young woman, a small town girl, is greeted by an angel, and we're told that she is much perplexed by his words and pondered what this might mean. The word perplexed here can also be read as terrified. She was terrified. The angel tried to calm her down. Don't be afraid, Mary. You have found favor with God. This is a good message, kind of. For the angel continues, you will now conceive and bear a son, and you'll name him Jesus, and God will give him the throne of his ancestor David. The power of the Most High will overshadow you, and therefore the child to be born will be holy and will be called the Son of God. And even now, your relative Elizabeth, in her old age, is 6 months pregnant. I think we miss something sometimes when we assume that this experience was obvious without confusion. We tend to assume these visitations of angels and messages and dreams are more vivid and clear than anything we might experience. I suspect they were equally as opaque as yours and mine might be, leaving them as unsure as we would be. So maybe Mary's trip to visit Elizabeth is a chance to confirm that she was not hallucinating or hearing voices. If what the voice had said about her older relative, having a baby finally, if this was true, then just maybe this experience was somehow real. Now, the story of Mary and Elizabeth teaches us two important practices for our lives. Two choices we can make when life shakes up our expectations. We need to practice acceptance and connection. Practicing acceptance and connection can open our hearts up to a broader, deeper kind of love than we might have known. Now, Christophe André writes about the importance of acceptance while looking at a painting of the Annunciation of Mary from the 1400s. He says, in this painting, we see Mary's inner experience, a human Mary captured in the course of her psychological journey, the precise moment when she understands and accepts. And acceptance doesn't mean thinking that all is well. We don't have to like a thought, a situation, a person, or an experience in order to accept it. Like it or not, I can still accept this situation or this person, this experience. It is here in my life, and I will have to work with it and go forward, whatever it is. Andre suggests that acceptance is a higher degree of letting go. In acceptance, there's this intention to remain present, but in action and calm. To each thing that arrives, we begin by saying, yes, this is here. There's a receptiveness to the reality as it presents itself to us. Suggests that acceptance is like a mountain walk where trying to walk in a straight line to the summit, would be a bad idea. So instead, we follow the paths that wind their way up a mountain slope Without abandoning the idea of getting to the top, we accept the slope and the roundabout path, and we keep climbing upwards. And I think this describes Mary's experience, because her whole life is about to be turned upside down. You know, those plans for a traditional wedding, they are out the window. She doesn't know yet if her fiancé is going to accept this unlikely story of a divine revelation, or if her parents will disown her. She only knows that nothing will be as she thought it would be just yesterday. We can all feel a little bit of that this year. But for Mary, on the other hand, if she accepts this angelic vision as possible, then her simple, ordinary life would be caught up in and connected to something bigger, something greater than she could ever have dreamed for herself. Whatever comes next, she would be participating in bringing hope to the hungry, help to the helpless, God's ultimate peace in the world. So the joy that could overcome all the pain that would come in this life was in knowing that she would be participating with God in bringing hope and healing to others through her life. So this is a story of one person accepting the twists and turns and pains that life was about to bring. And this is a story of love shared between two people and then for all people. For Mary and Elizabeth have been invited to participate in God's quest to transform the earth into a place of love and justice. And it's wonderful and it's frightening, and they're going to be in this together. These two women find themselves expectant mothers under the most unexpected conditions. For Elizabeth had long given up even praying to have a child. She was past the age to conceive. Long ago, she had been declared infertile, barren, beyond hope. And now she's expecting. And Mary, awaiting an arranged engagement, finds herself expecting too soon and trusting in an angelic vision that no one else could verify. So what do? How do they cope? They seek out friendship. They hope for understanding from someone who is equally perplexed. They spend time together, keeping each other company, learning and laughing together as they face this first-time childbirth and the prospects of dangerous motherhood. And Elizabeth knows from her own experience the cost of being shamed and excluded. For in her culture, a woman's primary purpose in life was to bear children. So an elderly, infertile wife, she had endured a lifetime of being treated as a failure. So we might think of Elizabeth as Mary's sponsor in spiritual trauma recovery. We can hear her saying, "I'm here for you. I know what you are feeling." Like, we were surprised when I found out I was pregnant at my age. My husband can't even speak. He is struck dumb. And now I am 6 months pregnant. Our neighbors have been staring and whispering, not sure if they think we are blessed or cursed. When Elizabeth welcomes Mary, she practices the same kind of inclusive love that Jesus will show to every struggling beggar, prostitute, tax collector. She looks beyond the shameful look of Mary's situation to the reality of God's love at work, even among those whom society rejects and excludes. So Elizabeth's words and her action invite us to reflect on our own openness to the ways that God chooses to act in this world. Allows us to ask, where is God at work through people whom our neighbors might often exclude or find shameful? Elizabeth is open to the possibility that God is present and working through even two women that the rest of the world would consider inferior and insignificant. And she greets Mary with open arms and acceptance and affirmation. "Blessed are you among women. I am privileged to have you visit with me." And then in this safe place, in trusted company, Mary is able to sing a song of hope that reaches out and includes all of those who have been left out or discarded. For she sings, "The Mighty One has done great things for me, and holy is God's name. For God has scattered the proud and brought down the low and the powerful from their thrones and lifted up the lowly. God has filled the hungry with good things and sent the rich away empty." Mary and Elizabeth accepted and embraced the lives that they were given with hope and joy and love. And the good news is that what was true for Mary and Elizabeth is also true for us. God is bringing in the kingdom of love and justice on earth through us, through our lives. You too are blessed. For God has placed persons along your journey to provide care, comfort, and guidance for you. And you can be the one who blesses others. Someone might be waiting for your visitation, for you to be that companion on the road that will give them the gift of hope. When we accept the life that is now ours the way it is, when we connect with others who will accept us and walk this path with us, then we find ourselves strengthened and inspired to love more than we thought we could, to care for people we never dreamed that we would. We are stretched and expanded, and the fear might not be gone, but it no longer controls us. We can greet each day and take each step with hope and faith and love. So Mary's song of hope reminds us to look past our fears and our hurts and our suspicions and to accept those around us with God's compassionate love. God was at work in the lives of two unlikely women in their most difficult time, and they responded with acceptance of God's call to love. Mary sings of a future where all children are safe from violence. She sings of a future where people have homes and food and jobs, and she sees into the horizon and sings of a coming reign of God. So in Advent, we sing because we look forward to something better than the suffering and the injustice that we see all around us. We look forward and we act with hope to the kindness and generosity and compassion of our God one day being fulfilled for all people in all places in all the earth. We sing because we look forward to peace on earth and mercy mild. We sing because the birth of this child, in this birth, God is in fact making all things new. So let's sing.